Welcome to edition 42 of All Killa No Filla podcast with me, Rachel Fairburn, and Kiri Pritchard-McLean. Just before we start, we'll do our usual disclaimer.
What are you fucking giggling
This
about
isn't
already?
hero worship. Should we carry on like this? We do this podcast because we have mutual interest in serial killers, and as long as we are doing this podcast, it stops us from writing to them in prison. Number 42.
What are you giddy about?
I don't know.
You've been giddy since you came over.
I swear to God, I don't know what's wrong with me. I think I'm overtired. And I keep laughing at everything.
Sorry this is late, is the first thing, an apology. I left the thing that we recorded on in London, and then obviously it's been the holidays. Did you have a nice Christmas, mate? We haven't really spoken about that.
It's fine. I just think I've been drunk for an entire week.
I'd say a year, mate.
I think it's been a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a year.
Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, I did. The first Christmas Day wasn't great because I was missing my boyfriend, and then he came on Boxing Day.
Wait.
Yeah, in every sense. Here's your present. And I just, I was really giddy when he came along. So
That's nice.
yeah, I miss him. He's good company.
I went to my friend Phil Atkinson. I went to his... Thank you very much. I mean, Norman and Barbara won't be listening to this, but thank you, Norman and Barbara, for allowing me to come and share Christmas Day with you. We had a right old bloody laugh.
Why didn't your family not do something?
Not really. My sister goes to her in-laws. My mum isn't really asked. And my dad usually works.
Oh, right.
It's a right laugh.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
So imagine if it was a Christmas Carol and they're like going around to visit her and like fucking Bob Cratchit's not in because he's still working. Tiny Tim's dad has killed himself. That's a bleak little picture you painted there.
I had a lovely day though.
Good.
Very fun. And Norman, Phil's dad, ate the paper on a canopy. How we laughed.
Threw it all down. Love it. We are talking about Robert Pickton.
Yeah, this will stop me laughing because this is depressing, as they all are.
Don't eat during this one.
No. So, Robert Pickton, also known as the Butcher, the Pig Farmer Killer, the Pig-Headed Killer, and Pork Chop Rob.
Pork Chop Rob's my favourite.
Pork Chop Rob. Yeah, when I've been watching documentaries about this, I always feel like I have to put my coat on because it looks bloody freezing.
Yeah, it does. He looks as well. If you said, draw just freehand off the top of your head a serial killer, just draw it, he is what you end up with.
Yeah, I agree.
He looks like a fucking wrong un.
Yeah, he does. He's a bad man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's bald with long hair.
Yep.
And like he just always looks filthy.
He looks like he stinks, doesn't he?
Yeah, even if he was like Morris dancing, he'd look unsavoury. So like all the pictures of him that you see, like he's not doing anything particularly suspect in them, but it looks like he's just covered in blood.
And he looks like he's up to something in all of them. Like looking over his shoulder. Oh, yeah, he doesn't look right.
No, he's a filthy looking guy. But his name's Robert Pickton. He was known as Willie, which I can't understand. You think it would be Rob or Bert or something.
Bobby.
I find that very weird when people have a nickname that doesn't relate to their name.
So he was born October the 24th, 1949, in Port...
I've got October 26th, 1949.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, it's around the same time.
Split the difference. October 25th, 1949.
Now, let me pronounce this correctly. Port Coquitlam.
That was beautiful.
That wasn't laboured at all, was it? In British Columbia. And they think there's between 6 and 49 victims.
Yes.
He wanted to go for an even 50.
Yeah, because he got sort of caught with 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned around and he confessed to a load.
Did he actually say in one of the documentaries, they were like, who'd have thought that a few years before, this socially awkward bachelor would have been preying on women? That's the first person you should be knocking on for, the socially awkward bachelor. He's probably preying on women.
Yeah, if there's a load of women going missing, be like, well, there's that charismatic married man, or there's the socially awkward bachelor. Let's check out the married man. Let's see where he was on Wednesday.
They lived on a small farm in New Westminster. It was interesting as well because he's recorded his audio diaries. Like, he's done this thing, you can listen to it on YouTube.
Told you, everyone's got a fucking podcast.
I know. And he recorded in 1991, and one of the things he says, I've done some stupid things in my life. No, I've done some stupid things. You've been a cunt.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon signed up to a Ponzi scheme. It's not quite the same thing, is it?
Exactly. There's stupid things, and there's being a dick.
I think, you know, when they say stuff like that, like, oh, I've done things I regret, or like, I've not been an angel, and it's like, it's such an understatement that you can tell that there's no remorse.
Yeah.
That the fact that they're just, like, belittling what they did.
Yeah. It's very easy to repent when you're in prison, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's very fucking pious for this time of year, mate.
Well, you know.
Are you still hammered?
Probably. I went out last night and I'm telling you, woke up in friend's sofa. I don't remember any of the evening.
I got pissed last night.
You did?
Yeah. Not like me, is it?
Oof.
Not like me at all. But it was a friend's party. And then I had not an argument with my fella, but he ended up taking his belt off in the lift.
Oof.
Not in a sexy way, in a strop, threw it on the floor so I'd have to pick it up. Like an actual baby having tantrums. And on the walk home, so I was sort of like sulking because we argued about... Well, no, it was... I went to walk a friend home and they sort of got upset, so I was talking to them for about half an hour. 18 missed calls I had from that clingy cunt in that meantime.
18 missed calls.
That's full on, isn't it? That's full on, that.
Leave him.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then he opened the door like a fucking... Like a dad, you know, like, what time do you call this? And was like really furious. She's never like... And then so he sort of sulking, and then we left, and then we're sort of like, I was sulking because he'd, you know, like, I just didn't like the way he spoke to me, and I don't take no shit. And then he was walking home and he said, I just want you to love me as much as I love you. Is that
what he said?
Yeah.
Leave him.
Which I thought, yeah, it is a bit like, oh, you're being creepy now. Anyway, so this farm that they're on, this pig farm, pigs as well, right?
Yep.
Pigs are great, very intelligent animals. As a vegan, I don't actually eat them. They're the thing I miss the most. I fucking love belly pork. Anyway.
My least favourite meat, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not...
Well, you're a fucking idiot,
I'm not
mate.
a massive fan of bacon, you know.
But it's everything, isn't it, mate? So it's bacon, it's sausage, it's belly pork, it's gammon. Oh,
no.
Ham.
Won't eat gammon.
Really?
No.
Why?
Just don't like it. I won't eat... I'm not eating belly pork.
Oh, so good.
No.
I once bought belly pork and it had a nipple on it.
Oh, please don't. That genuinely made me feel sick.
And all I did was I cut the nipple off, threw it in the bin, cooked it, and then gave it to my ex.
Oh, I feel really nauseous at that.
You know, the only thing I don't like about pork is sometimes you see the fucking hairs coming out of it. Yeah, that's a bit much. Isn't it?
It's proper grim.
So there's a weird thing that, like, so I've grown up on a farm with horses. Horses are really scared of pigs. They don't like going past the smell. And obviously the smell's very strong. It's not like a dirty smell, it's like a sweet smell almost that pigs make. And yeah, horses freak out as soon as they start to smell it. And we used to have to go to the beach, we'd have to go past these pigs. And you'd have to like get off and try and walk your horse past it. And apparently the thing is that it smells like lions. But how the fuck is a fucking horse from Wales going to know what a lion smells like?
So they think it's a predator?
Yeah.
That's really weird.
And they're just sort of big, like big scary looking thing. You know, they're quite big, aren't they? So yeah, but it's the smell. There's a little fact for you, mate.
Interesting that.
Pigs smell like lions.
I'll be relaying that down Chequers when I get back to London. It's my local.
So this farm that they had, so the granddad bought this farm in 1905 and it was near an asylum, which just makes everything creepier. And there's like 3 generations of pig farmers there. And in the late 50s they sold it so there could be a highway there. And then with the money they went and bought this other farm, which is where this stuff takes place. Piggy Palace.
Gross, innit?
Yeah, that's what it came to be known as.
Piggy Palace. We'll get to that in a bit though. We don't want to ruin the surprise. I think you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to end brilliantly. In 1963, so his dad, Leonard Pickton, was married to Helen Louise Pickton. So in 1963, Leonard Pickton and Helen Louise Pickton moved farms. And it says that they pulled up their blue and white... They towed their blue and white farmhouse.
Oh.
So does that mean it was a trailer? Or is it one of those houses that you sometimes see on the back of things and you're like, how the fuck has that happened?
Yeah, it must be, yeah. You know, like... You can move it around.
Yeah, like Up. Well,
oh God,
like
I can't watch that film.
I think it's fucking horrific. I think it's that 10 minutes. I never get past that emotionally.
Well, we were just talking how we get upset about things more when we get old. Well, as we age. But I started watching Up on a plane once, and I was on my own and just burst into tears. I was like, why on earth would anyone make this?
Yeah, it's awful, isn't it?
It's just so sad.
Well, have I not told you about this before? I've got a real problem with it. Because everyone's like, oh, Up's so great. I'm like, no, all that happens is he has an incredibly sad life where he loses the love of his life. They never have children together. He's unfulfilled. He's poor. He's got no money. And now he's got King Jong-un and a load of dogs to look after. He can't afford either.
I don't know what happens in it. I just knew that I couldn't...
What happens, mate, is that old man dies and gets eaten by the dogs before he's found.
Are you joking?
Well, that's not obviously what happens in the film.
Oh, right. I thought that was genuinely what happened in the film.
Yeah, real turn up for the books, that, for Pixar. Still better than Cars, though.
Fucking hell. What a horrible... It's just so sad. Is it a happy ending?
They think it is, but I don't think it is.
What happens in the end?
That he adopts a load of dogs and that kid who looks like Michael McIntyre.
That's why you called him that.
Yeah. He does. So, yeah, that's what happens. So all that happens now is that he couldn't feed himself before, had no money, and now he's got to pay for a kid and a load of dogs. It doesn't make sense.
It just sounds silly.
It's, you know what, mate, it is a little far-fetched.
It does sound
But I'd say when they attach balloons to the house, it does that. I hate it.
Sorry if we've ruined up for you, but you've had about 10 years to watch it, so don't whinge.
Oh, I hate that. One of our friends knows loads about like Doctor Who and the BBC of yesteryear, Toby, and so he gets really fucked off every time. He writes a lot for the Guardian, so he'll reference some episode from like 1973, and he'll be like, when so and so happens, and someone will always go, brilliant spoiler alert, and he's like, you've had enough fucking time. It's on you if you've not watched it.
Enough time has gone now.
Yeah.
I've never seen Star Wars, but I know what happens in it. If I said that I quite fancy Darth Vader, were we talking about this the other week?
What?
Who was I talking to about this? It might have been a friend of the show, Will Duggan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why do you fancy him?
Dunno. Because he's an arsehole, probably.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a prick.
Yeah, but I just think he's quite attractive.
You can't see his face, though.
Yeah, I know. Don't matter, though, does it?
Keep the mask on.
Keep the mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find him quite attractive. Tall and a bit of an arsehole.
Tall bit of an arsehole. Where were we?
Pigs.
Sorry.
So the
pigs.
farm was disgusting by all accounts. The animals were free to roam all over.
Free range?
Free range, yep. He had an older sister, Linda. She didn't live on the farm, though. She was at boarding school, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was sent to a boarding school, and then she sort of moved away, and she lives in, like, a gated community. She married a rich businessman. Ooh. But she got sent away because her dad said that the farm was no place for girls. Mm. I mean, he'll let his wife live there and squalor.
Yeah, she can do it, but, you know. David, his younger brother, as well. And they said that his mother, Louise, as she was known, was very demanding, a bit of a tyrant. There was one of the documentaries, there's this, it's so funny, this woman's like, oh yeah, and his mother Louise was, she had a very distinctive voice, and she goes to do the impression and she totally bottles it. She goes, you come here, Willie. It's the worst thing. She should just have gone, can we cut that?
Or she's got, like, she's one of those people who's like, I'm going to be on a documentary, I'm going to show them a range.
Oh, then she sings the next bit.
There's no business. Do you know what I watched recently? I'm obsessed with these Facebook, masterclasses. Because what they do is they basically get someone famous, like... So Steve Martin gives a stand-up comedy masterclass.
Oh, right.
And and they have, like, a trailer for each one, where Steve Martin just plays the banjo for the whole time. But they had a Kevin Spacey acting masterclass, which is fucking hilarious. It was like an SNL sketch. It was so cringy. Most of the time he's just lying on the floor in a gilet. Anyway, they've done a new one, because obviously Spacey, no one's going to pay... I mean, he should be giving a masterclass in someone else getting away with it. So there's a Helen Mirren one. It's so funny. So, like, there's this wide shot of a studio with just a huge Persian rug and a chair in the middle of it. So she walks on, like, for ages, goes and sits down on the chair. And she's like, hello, I'm Helen Mirren, and this is my acting masterclass. Lots of hands going on. And she goes, I think I've done one of the hardest things that you can do in my profession. I've just walked on stage as myself. It's like, oh, that's the exact moment that Helen Mirren disappears up her own poo pipe.
Oh, Helen.
It's so embarrassing. She's such a fucking idiot.
Oh, God.
I just walked on stage as myself.
I'm so disappointed in her. What's she doing?
I know. Oh no, there's a fucking amazing bit as well, because like she's giving all these like different lessons on things, like one's Shakespeare and one's accents, and so she's standing there. She's got a pair of like little round glasses on, like turn of the century kind of ones, and she's sort of looking at it. She's like by a table full of props, and she goes, "Yeah, these glasses, Russian accent, big wig." nomination. And you're like, what fucking...
No.
Yeah.
Oh, right, I need to watch this. I'm going to have to watch this.
It's
Oh my
brilliant.
God, it sounds amazing.
All of them are so unaware.
Are they just
of what...
on Facebook?
Yeah. Because you pay to do the course on Facebook. Because, like, no one who is going to make it is going to make it off the back of...
Well, I just did a Facebook course and...
Yeah, exactly. You sound
and
fucking
here I
insane.
am, in Hollywood.
And I got a degree from Trump University. Yeah, it's absolutely bollocks. But they're so funny because that's the thing about, like, these people have been so famous for so long that they can only really teach you how to be them. And that's based on a very specific set of circumstances that they've lived through. So it's just the advice they're giving you is fucking bullshit. Steve Martin can tell you, like, how he writes, but you can't tell... It's utterly pointless listening to it as an open spot in Manchester.
Yeah, because it's...
Because he's not going to be like, email Jason at the Comedy Balloon. Like, he doesn't know what he's on about.
It's of absolutely no consequence, is it?
No. But I love them because they're also
I'm going to have to
unself-aware.
watch these. How did we get onto this? Pigs.
Oh yeah, pigs, sorry. I get fucking distracted.
So, to the impression, that was it. That's how I got onto it.
Oh yeah.
Now, the kids stank.
Yes.
They were picked on at school.
Well, they were scared of showers, weren't
Robert
they?
picked on.
Oh, very good.
Thank you. I'm
Very
here all
good.
week. Yeah, they stank. They were scared of showers.
Yeah.
What was the reason for this?
And it was a weird thing that, like, didn't their mum... There was something about... There's something weird about their mum and baths. So they didn't ever want to wash, and they were scared of showers. So it was something like their mum forced them to have baths, or forced them to have baths with her, but I don't want to cast aspersions. But it was something I read about it anyway, that she made it weird. So, yeah, they were just covered in, like, blood and guts and mud all the time, and they just fucking stunk, so no one wanted to knock about with them.
I just showed you, didn't I, a picture of me when I was 16 at school.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
It should be on a documentary called The World's Ugliest Cunts. Swear to God, I look awful, don't I? I should have been picked on.
You do look bad, yeah.
I should have been bullied.
That's such a fucking bold thing to say.
I should. A good kicking would have...
That wouldn't have helped that fucking haircut.
Leave me. It was the 90s, man. It was me hair.
Don't get defensive now after saying I should have been picked on calling yourself the world's ugliest cunt. You look like... She points out... Well, I tell you what, we'll get to put it on Facebook. She says that she looks like... from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Tony Slattery.
Tony Slattery, and it's a really funny observation.
I do.
You wouldn't recognise her from it.
I've also been told that there's a picture of me that I put on Facebook ages ago. And Rob Thomas, a comedian colleague of ours who I believe listens to this podcast. Hello, Rob. Stop pouting. Little in joke there. He said I look like young Jimmy Carr. And
yeah, you do.
Yeah, I did.
You do, yeah. God, it's really funny.
Oh man, disgusting. Anyway,
so they're in school. He's not very bright. He's got an IQ. They find out later at the trial of 86, which isn't. It's like below 70 is considered to have. Mental retardation is the phrase that they've used that I feel uncomfortable using. So he's not bright, but it was a weird thing that he did have a lot of love of learning. Like when he was in prison later on, spoiler, he signs up to take courses and like wants to better
Facebook
himself.
acting.
Yeah. So he's doing it next. Robert Pickton's Guide to Serial Killing. Russian accent, wig, conviction.
I can't wait to see this. That's what I'm going to do when we've done this. Also, him and his brother David used to hide under the bed because they didn't want to go to school. So he'd hide under the bed from like when they were meant to leave the house until school had finished.
What?
You've got to really hate school to do that.
Yeah. What would you even do under the bed? Just how many times can you crack one off in school hours?
About 6.
Also, that would have fucking stuck. No, I'm not asking you for actual stats, but like. Under the bed. I've told you about my dad, the room he goes to snore in.
No.
So my dad's got really bad chest, so he has a room that he sleeps in most of the time because he's snoring so bad, and like he shifts around and he also fights in his sleep, like if he dreams. Like you fucking bastard, and he'll be like punching my mum's like, you had a fight last night, you're sleeping in that room. So he, like, there's just like this little room that I used to sleep in as a kid, and it's so messy because he's just him in there. My mum doesn't go in, and like she shouldn't have to deal with it all. Anyway, basically she was like, tidy that fucking pit of yours that you sleep in. So he came downstairs. I must have told you this. And he'd like done a deep clean. He'd moved under the bed and everything, and he went, fucking us, just had to clean 2 bars of cat shit from underneath the bed. Like, there's been a cat shit, and, like, cat shit smells.
It
So he
stinks.
hasn't noticed. So he's like, 2 piles of cat shit from under the bed. And then he went, and this is true, cats have been dead 3 years.
Oh my god.
So fuck knows how many years that was fossilised.
Fossilised cat shit under the bed. Oh my god, that's awful.
It's horrific, isn't it?
Oh.
It must have looked like, those figures in Pompeii, just covered in dust under there.
God, that's awful.
It's really bad, isn't it?
Pretty bloody museum. World's oldest cat shit.
Have you seen the guy in Pompeii cracking one off?
No.
That's what I was going to get my...
Is he genuinely?
Yeah, my boyfriend, well, you went to his party, didn't you? We recorded a very drunk message there. He recently turned 30, and I was going to get cake made for him. I couldn't get it made in time because he's vegan. And it was going to be in the shape of a guy in Pompeii. He's literally pulling his spine out as the ash falls down. Because there would have been half a second where he's gone, oh, fucking hell. Like, as the cloud descends over him.
Oh my god.
So he's fossilised.
What a way
Cracking
to go.
one off. It's bad, innit?
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
That's like that moment that flashes through people's head as they're, like autoerotic asphyxiation. Like, oh, come on.
Oh no.
not
Yeah,
like this.
someone's going to find me like this.
Yeah, or someone's got something up their arse and starts having a heart attack and they're like, oh, brilliant. One of my kids is going to find me.
Oh no.
With a pineapple up my arse.
Just that split second of...
That must be the worst feeling in the world.
Jesus. Oh, I don't know. You just reminded me about... talking about sleeping. Did I ever tell you about the funniest dream that I ever had? And it's very recent. It's so funny. I dreamt that I was in a... I was in a hotel, right? And I opened the door and this bloke, 2 blokes in suits came in. And I went, oh, thanks so much for coming. And I said, can I get you anything? And one went, oh, can I have a glass of water? And I went, yes, no problem. And then I said, can I get you anything? So the other man, and he went, I'll just have some roast potatoes. And I went, roast potatoes? Mate, it's a travel lodge. I can't just get roast potatoes. And he went, I'll just have a glass of water as well, right? I woke up crying, laughing, proper pissing myself. It's funny, isn't it?
It is funny, but it's fucking mad things
It's
to be
weird,
dreaming. It's really mad.
It's funny though, isn't it?
It is funny, yeah.
The funniest dream I ever had. Oh, anyway.
That's quite a low bar, though, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I've had some fucking shit dreams, mate. I keep having a recurring dream about falling down the gap in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like a piece of paper, like Flat Stanley.
Flat Stanley.
Yeah.
That's a great book, that.
Anyway.
Fucking hell. Gonna
So
snip.
He has, he buys himself a calf with his savings. Willie. Robert. Whatever you want to call him. And he really loved it and he cared for it and he looked after it and it was his only friend and he was really happy with it and he just rushed home from school to see it. Anyway, he came home from school one day and it had gone. So he went in to ask his mum, where's my calf? And she said, oh, go and have a look in the shed or whatever it was, and she'd had it slaughtered.
Yeah, I mean, that is bad.
It's not an excuse though, is it?
But, no, of course it's not an excuse. Sorry, I'm just going to move. You might think you can see my fanny, but you can't. I've got knickers on.
I'm not looking.
Well, I'm just saying in case you glance at me, you can't see my fanny.
This is going to be... They have no idea what...
Oh, yeah, so I should explain that I've just got out of the shower, so I'm in like a dressing gown. Got no bra on, so I've not been able to move in case the tip falls out, but I have got knickers on. Let the record show that I am wearing knickers.
There we go. The benefit of the tape.
So, I mean, he can't have been that surprised, because... So when I was young, my parents would let me, They let me pick a cow, and they let me pick a sheep, and then what would happen is I would get so that sheep and all its offspring, any money raised from that, I would get, and the same with the cow. So, yeah. And then when I went to university, there was this savings account which paid for my accommodation the first year, and that was all cow and sheep money.
That's nice.
Yeah, so you do, know, but I guess I wasn't knocking around with any of them.
No, they were your mates, weren't
No, they weren't my mates, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, you were pals. So in 1963, when he was 14, he dropped out of school and became a butcher's apprentice. And he had a talent for dissection. I wonder who got him that job, butcher's apprentice. Was it Rob Turkus, my old careers advisor?
But he was good. He worked there for 7 years it says a meat cutter, which sounds awful. Because he wasn't great in school. He was in special education, so I think that's like, I don't know. Well, I think it's just classes that they get more support in.
Yeah.
And like I say, old IQ. Oh, there was also a really weird thing where he had a horse called Goldie that died, and he had the head mounted and hung in his trailer. There's absolutely no way he wasn't diddling with that.
It's horrible, that, isn't it?
It is. I say that. I'm literally being stared at by a goat's head on the wall right now.
This is true.
And a bird that you got me, and a fox head.
And a fox. And a pheasant.
Oh, there's
And
a
a
pheasant and a duck. Yeah, that's all the taxidermy in this room anyway. I've got a couple in the bathroom as well.
Fresh kills.
Yeah. Anything that runs out of the drain pipe's fair game.
Now, there's a funny... I say funny. What I meant was strange.
Is it as funny as roast potatoes in a travel lodge, mate?
That was one of the funniest... That was absolutely hilarious. I laughed my... Oh, honestly. Great sleep. 16th of October 1967. Now, this is a weird incident. Unsavoury, some might say. Now, David, his brother, got his driving licence, so he took the truck from the farm and they went for a little ride out along the country roads, and he hit a young boy. What they did was they ran back to the mother and they said, "Oh, what do we do?" And she said, "You go and fix the truck and I'll sort it." And what she did was she went to where this boy was lying injured in the road. He wasn't dead. And she rolled him into a ditch, which was full of water, and he drowned. Right?
So horrible.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really brutal.
And the police were actually suspicious that she had a bit more to do with it, and but there wasn't enough evidence. So, that... Also, when you think he was badly injured, but they could have got help and,
Yeah.
It's just horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, well, because he didn't die because of the injuries, he died because he drowned, which meant that he was breathing.
Ugh.
It's really, really rotten.
Poor lad. She was very antisocial, the mother, and everyone said that she was out for herself, which I think this incident does show.
Well, no, she's out for her boys there.
Yeah, true. One of those mothers, I'll do anything for my boys.
Peggy Mitchell.
Yeah, Peggy Mitchell.
Fucking hate that. Mums that, like, the crazed mum. Oh, actually, she didn't really know, did she? But, like, those kind of, like, when boys can do no wrong.
Yeah.
There's a few of them I've known in my life, and I want to go, mate, your kid's a fucking arsehole.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Mums and their boys.
If I had kids, I'd much prefer to have girls, to be honest.
Really? No, fuck that. Snakes with tits. No. I don't know. I don't know what it's... I mean, hopefully by the time we have kids, there'll be no such thing as gender, Rachel.
1970.
Where you got your views from.
Oh, look, everyone, do what you want, within reason. I really
don't force it down my throat.
I genuinely don't give a shit about anything. As long as everyone's happy, that's all I care about. 1970, 24th birthday. He left his job and he went to work on the farm full time. And he was doing various things. He was feeding the pigs, shoveling manure, killing the animals, a bit of everything. And he used to drop barrels of waste from the farm off at West Coast Reduction. So it was all like barrels of stuff, like animal bits and shit and, all the stuff that you...
Effluent.
Yeah, just really unpleasant stuff. And this is where he used to take the barrels to, which will probably come into play a little bit later on. But
that's what goes into sausages.
Pickton sausages.
Ugh, you wouldn't, would you?
No.
Actually, I think sausages are one of the things that, like... I don't eat meat now, although I do miss it, but sausages... But sausages, like... Oh, I've got to tell you, so our good mate Will Duggan, he worked at Harvester... And people always, you know about this, yeah? Have I told this before?
I think you've told it.
Oh, fuck.
Go on, tell him again.
No, I'm not telling twice. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
So during this time, he's hanging around an area in Vancouver called Low Track. And it was full of sex workers. It was really sort of depressing areas, loads of drug addicts around. And he'd go there and he'd pay for sex. Now, the sex workers actually were quite fond of him and said he was a good guy and they didn't mind... going with him or wherever he went, I don't know, getting involved with him, doing the business with him. And he used to go to a place...
That sounds like they had a shit in front of him.
I don't know what he was into. Doing the business. I'm going to start saying that instead of saying sex.
Should we go and do the business?
Should we go and do the business?
Should we go and have a firm handshake upstairs? Sign on the dotted line? Oh God, that all sounds really euphemistic.
Well, I won't be saying that to anyone for quite some time.
I give it 2 weeks.
No, telling you, mate, done.
What, if Liam Gallagher came along now, you wouldn't sit on it?
Of course I would. I've not told him this yet. I went to see Liam Gallagher. He wasn't in. No. I went to see him. It's Alexandra Palace in London. Sorry, Ali Palace. And I had a great time. Absolutely hammered. But we had a right old knees up, I did. And he didn't tweet about it, because usually he tweets about every gig that he does. Anyway, someone said, Liam, why have you not tweeted about Alexandra Palace? And he said, wasn't feeling it that night. Sorry, want you. It was me. I'm like, the one gig I go to.
Did you notice a difference in him?
No. I was that drunk, though. But I have to say, I only physically saw him 3 times, because I had to be lifted up to have a look.
Oh, yeah.
So I only,
like a kid at the zoo.
Like a kid at the zoo.
Why do you, because I don't like live music. I love live music, but I don't like going because I'm too short and the beer's expensive and I want to sit down. I'm just too much of an old woman. I don't know what you get out of it.
It's Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, but you can't see him.
But you can hear him. And I saw him. I got picked up.
But put the album on at home.
Don't want to. I want to hear him. I want to hear how his voice is, how good it is now, because he's back. Also, Rocking Chair, which is his finest vocal moment. You know when you do that thing when you go to a concert and I was like, oh, wait till he plays something...
I can't believe I've invited this. Go on.
I was like, well, wait till he plays some shit and then we'll go and get...
immediately went and got a drink.
Go and get a drink. Shut up. Anyway, so I was like, all right, okay. And the person was with, favourite song of ours, Rocking Chair. I was like, we both went, I don't know what this is. This is a right load of old shit. I walked off. Oh, fuck, it's Rocking Chair. What a pair of wankers. But it was very good. He didn't do... I don't know why I'm reviewing this. No one cares. It was good. I got hammered. Got a T-shirt outside. And there you go.
Do you always get a T-shirt outside, one of the Fruit of the Loom ones?
Yeah, I always buy... unofficial. Because it's always better.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. It's one thing... I mean, Liam, if you're listening to this, your merchandise, mate, you've got to sort that out. One of the T-shirts that he had just had his face on. It looked like he'd had it done on a stag do in Blackpool. It was so shit. So, 50 quid for a hoodie.
What? That's mad.
£5 T-shirt outside. Thank you very much.
£5 is a good price for a T-shirt anyway.
It's an excellent... And it is a Fruit of the Loom one.
Yeah, because you can still see a logo underneath.
Wonderful. It's got his face on the front. Anyway. So, back to the Astoria Hotel. Now, he'd go to this hotel, and he used to chat with the men that were in there, and then women would offer him sexual favours for money. And as I was watching one of the documentaries about this, I had it on my laptop in the near the kitchen in my sister's house, and I was saying about how depressing the area was and stuff, and I just heard my sister in the kitchen go, "Oh God, this is awful." And I was like, "Oh no, it's so depressing." And she went, "No, I'm talking about this potato peeler. It's all blunt." I was like, "All right, okay." So 1975, when he was 25, he's still working on the farm, and he's handing out drugs and money in the Astoria, and this is the routine that he's in until 1978. In the January, his dad dies. Then his mother finds out she's got terminal cancer very soon after. So he looked after her, and she started to become really, really ill. He nursed her, and he found it quite traumatic, as you would, to be fair to him. To be fair.
This is really funny. You can hear when my boyfriend goes into the bathroom upstairs, and you can hear him just flushing the toilet now. So providing we don't edit too much out, you can work out how long it takes for him to go for a shit.
No shame whatsoever. So, she died in April, so it was very soon after his father died. And the farm was left to the 3 children, and they split the...
It burned down that year as well. The piggery burned down, because he'd been working as a truck driver, and in 1978 the piggery burned down. So they had to do it back up again.
Oh dear. Dear, dear.
You sound like you don't give a fucking shit,
Couldn't give a shit, mate. So it was only Robert Pickton that carried on the business. His brother and his sister weren't interested. He moved on to... His brother stayed in the house, though, and Robert Pickton moved onto a trailer on the property. And because obviously he didn't have his mother there, and the parents had died. He was free to do whatever he wanted, and what he used to do, he'd go and pick up women. He'd take them back to his trailer. They'd have a drink, and he'd teach them butchery skills.
Such a weird little...
Yeah.
Though there are, like... Because if a guy... I don't want a guy teaching me fuck all if I'm going back to his. Absolutely nothing. Maybe which bus to get home.
What about a lesson in love?
I feel sick, mate. You just watched me eat, and I've had a hot chocolate. That's disgusting.
What's disgusting about love?
A lesson in love.
A lesson in love.
It's that face you do. It's a shame it's a podcast because you're missing that.
Do you want to come back to mine and I'll teach you a lesson in love?
Oh, the only thing worse than that is, do you want to come back to mine and I'll show you some close hand magic? Like, I think magic... Oh, you know I've heard about magicians anyway. Fuck them and their capes.
What's the worst sort of come on that you've had, like somebody go...
I told you about this tonight. So my friend got this. Oh, I've told you about this. He said that he could read palms. And he was like, this is when we're back in Wales, and he was like, this line says you're going to live a long and prosperous life. And this line here says that you're going to have 3 kids. And this line here says you're going to get laid tonight.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really bad.
I can read palms, yeah. This one would look really good wrapped around my dick. I don't think of...
I've never had any of those, like, cheesy things.
I don't think I've ever been chatted up.
You must have been chatted up.
Like, I don't think anyone's ever been like, hey.
Yeah, but no one speaks like that, do they?
Hey. No, I don't know.
What you mean is Henry Winkler hasn't chatted you up.
Hey.
But no, people don't use come-on lines, do they?
You got to say something, haven't you?
Yeah, so it's can I buy you a drink? My fella upstairs, I'm telling a story about you. He met a girl at a bar. Well, I saw a girl and was like, oh God, she's really fit. And it was like, can I buy you a drink? And she's like, yeah, okay. And then he didn't want to... So he's like, okay, should we go to the bar? And she's like, yeah, okay. And then he didn't want to hold her hand, so he grabbed her by the wrist and, like, pulled her along by the wrist. Stood there at the bar, and it's getting, like, more and more awkward because he can't think of anything to say to her, so they're standing there in silence. And then I think he went to say something to her, and then she said something at the same time, and then he just sort of stopped, and it was a bit weird. And then he said to her, I don't want anything from you. And she was like, I'm leaving. Like, how much... You'd be like, oh God, I got away from this guy who was going to make a lampshade out of me. Isn't that really weird?
I don't want anything from you.
I don't want anything from you. No one who is innocent ever says that to you.
I don't want anything from you. Apart from...
Say again? That's staying in, did you say? Yeah.
That's what she said.
Oh, go on, mate. Stop drinking. Stop drinking.
I'm so tired. Honestly, it's been exhausting, this. I've had a very turbulent year. Mainly my own making. Now, so this is where we're going to...
It's going to be a fucking big edit, this one.
It is, isn't it? We've got a lot of stories to tell, though, haven't we? We'll save that for the next one. Because, you know, after his new sense of freedom, he goes absolutely batshit bonkers, doesn't he?
He does. Because he'd never really had any... I'll say this quickly, we might be this someone else, but he'd never really had any consistent women in his life other than his mother. He had a pen pal till he was 24 called Connie, and they used to write to each other, and they were engaged to be married, but then neither of them wanted to leave the farms that they lived on, so the wedding was called off. Which I think
catfishing each other for 24 years.
It's fucking brilliant. I think that's great. So yeah, basically what happens is dad's dead, mum's dead, he's in his trailer, and then what happens is this farm that they bought for £18,000, his family, it was worth by 1994 7.2 million. Woo. I know, it's mad, and it looks like there's an oil field there. So they sold one part of it for 1.7 million to like a housing development, and then a little bit later they sold 1.2 million to be made into a park, and then 2.3 million for a school. So they just had all this money, and that's when things start to go fucking mad in about 1994.
We'll just leave you with this, actually, for this, because it's going to be a two-part of this, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in 1996, they set up, the brothers set up the Piggy's Palace Good Times Society. which was a registered charity. And what they used to do, they would neighbours were getting really pissed off because they used to have sort of dances, and there was complaints about rowdiness, drug use, drunkenness, and parties attended by as many as 1,700 people, including bikers and sex trade workers. And it was closed down in 2000. But good run though.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, see if you can get away with it. I was looking at this I was just telling you about this, over Christmas. I look up swingers hotels to see the TripAdvisor reviews of people who've stayed there not knowing that it was a swingers hotel. And there's a really funny one that's on my I've got it on my, I think I put it on Instagram anyway. It's fucking hilarious, where they're like, we went to this place and we had to pay a tenner to a man in a towel, and then they were like, we walked through the lounge and there was pornography playing, and then there's all these things that happen that are like incredibly sexually suggestive, but they only realise, they go, and then we went into the television room and there was a leatherette mattress against the wall, and we realised what kind of place this was.
The mattress gave it away.
Yeah, the mattress is the one thing you expect in a fucking hotel.
Yeah, that's the one sense that it's not what, that it's actually not what you think.
And then they're like, oh, we decided to go for a walk and decide what to do. But if you were really bothered about it, you would leave immediately. Not go, should we, I mean, do we want to do this? I've not got any of my stuff with me.
If you can't beat them, join them.
If you can't beat them off.
Let them beat you up.
Thanks for waiting. Sorry you've had to wait so long.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll have another one. Anyway, yeah, so basically by the time you hear this, Happy New Year. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the Year of the Dog, Rachel told me.
Year of the Dog. I read through what the Year of the Dog, the qualities of the dog are, and I believe that I had those qualities, and turns out I don't.
No, you read them out loud, and they were the most un-Rachel sounding things ever.
We should say, bit of an arsehole.
Yeah, because it was like
easily led,
friendly. Like, it was all the things I wouldn't associate with you.
I'm quite friendly.
I don't think people would use that word.
That's why I get into these situations that I get in. I'm really friendly.
Oh my god! Well, that's a different kind of friendship, isn't it? Absolutely different.
Very friendly.
Year of the Dog. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll tell you next time. I've got a story about my mate accidentally wanking a dog off his first sexual experience. Oh my god! I can't
believe I've forgotten this. Yeah, please tell.
Should we just say it now?
Tell him now.
So we've got a friend who his first sexual experience was with a spaniel, I think called Dusty.
Oh god.
When he was like 8 years old, he said he was at a New Year's Eve party with his parents. He was like the only kid there, so he was just stroking the dog on his back, and then his sort of hand got tired, so he sort of stroked him with the back of his hand, and then was just sort of like absentmindedly like listening to the conversation and just wasn't watching, and the dog had rolled over onto his stomach. So he was basically rubbing the dog's dick with the back of his hand, and then the dog, he looked at his hand and it was covered in. Oh. He was like, I don't know what it was, but it was this warm, sticky stuff.
Oh.
And then the dog sort of walked off. Probably had a cig somewhere. But yeah, so his first sexual encounter was with a spaniel.
Christ. Oh,
that's weird because that dog's dead now. Imagine the first person that you had anything to do with was dead. That's a pretty tricky time, isn't it? So there you go. I mean, what a way to end the podcast.
From old age.
From fucking zinc deficiency, from him constantly tugging him off every time there's a pie.
Oh dear.
I wouldn't wank off a spaniel.
Great Dane.
A Great Dane? Are you kidding me? I've told you, haven't I? I've read that article about a girl who fucked dogs.
Oh, was it the one that they call it the videos?
No. This is like my friend had like Bizarre magazine or something. I remember it was in the staff room of when I used to work at Bench, and it was just out, and then they made him take it home. But it was this big interview with this girl who fucks dogs, and she said that a Labrador had a bone in its penis and scratched her inside.
I'm about to find a blind guy.
That is fucking horrible. That is horrible. I can't believe we've managed to make this horrible man worse by talking about...
I know, we have been pretty grim on this, I'll be honest. But thank you for listening and sticking with us.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to the live shows.
Oh, yeah, we really are. We'll cut a load of this out, don't worry.
You know what I think's going to happen?
Go on.
I think Liam Gallagher's going to make an appearance.
What are you on about?
I'm telling you.
All right, I'm going to hire a lookalike. And for my own entertainment, I'm going to hire a Rolf Harris one, because I imagine he's down on his luck these days.
I think he's going to turn up.
You think Liam Gallagher's going to come to the show?
Yeah, I do.
I think you're fucking high, mate.
Yeah, I think I might.
Well, actually, our live show has been produced by the same people who produced Liam Gallagher.
Telling you, mate.
We've got no comps.
He can sit in the dressing room.
No, he can't.
He can.
I need my space to get ready.
He'd be very respectful.
Oh, will he fuck? He can make the teas.
He can make the tea, yeah. Anyway, it's nice to have a dream. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, we'll cut
you
most of
later.
this. See you soon. Have a happy new year.